Hey guys, welcome back. My name is Ashanti and thank you for joining me. Today we are going to be discussing chapter 7 of my book, Teen Pregnancy. If you read my book, you already know that I gave birth to my first child when I was 16 years old. I got pregnant at 15 and I actually gave birth at 16. This was a very difficult time in my life because I was so immature and so young. I had no idea what I was getting myself into. When you're that young and you're faced with the reality of the little bit of myself that I do know, I now have to surrender that to another person. I think that was the most difficult thing for me to adjust to because I had so many goals and dreams that I wanted to accomplish. I just couldn't figure out at first how to do both, which is understandable because, like I said, I was 16 years old. And once I surrendered to that fact, I had my son when I was 19. So now I had two kids that I had to surrender my life to. And that was not easy for me. But once I did, things did begin to get a little easier. I had to figure out how to be a mom and also be me, or get to know who I was at the same time. So I, eventually made, being a mom a priority. Once I was old enough and mature enough to understand the weight of the responsibility that I had, created for myself. I can't blame anyone else for me getting pregnant as a teenager. So once I got, understood that, then I realized that, I could do both. I just had to be strategic about how I did things. Now, I waited until my kids were preteens before I actually went back to school to get my degree. And that's because I learned early on that when you have young children, trying to go to school at the same time was just very difficult. I had to wait until they were old enough to be at home, for a few hours on their own while I was, wrapping up classes or going to school at night, because I worked full time in the daytime and I went to school full time at night. And it took me 3.5 years. I graduated with honors, so it can be done. The hardest part about being a young mom is the stigma and the guilt that's attached to it. But I mean, I've seen people that waited to have children that I didn't really see a difference. It all depends on the person. So if you're going to use, any excuse that you can find to not go after, what you want in life, then it doesn't matter how old you are. But I was the type of person that I was not going to let circumstances, get the best of me. I had things that I wanted to do, and I was going to figure out a way to get them done. And also, I wanted to give my children, a better life, better than, well, I'm not going to say better, just more structured, more, opportunities. I wanted to show them that just because, you start out one way, you can always change and, be whatever you want it to be. So those were my goals. That's what I wanted to do. And I felt like telling them wasn't really going to change anything. I needed to show them that, it's not where you start, it's always, where you end up. Because just because I, had children young did not mean that, my life was over. because I was living it. I knew, every day I got up that my life was not over and that I wanted to, make a way for us that was comfortable, and I also wanted to, I'm not even going to lie, to shut the naysayers up. You know, being a young mom is the difficult part is, the looks and the stares and, the wagging the fingers, the shame and the guilt, and what society say, you're supposed to be doing at a certain age. What I will say is that I was way too immature, at first to be a mom. That's just the reality of it. But I also didn't see it as, the end of my life. So if you're, a young mom, first of all, I can't stand the label teen mom. If you're a young mom, and you got kids, just know that, you can still pursue your dreams and give your kids, the life that you always wanted to give, your future kids, because we always look at what we're going to do in the future instead of what we're going to do right now. So just make a plan, be strategic, about how you're going to get things done, because you don't want to have to stop and start. I did that a few times. I started going to school and then I had to stop due to child care issues and that kind of stuff. So you want to have all those things in place. Make a plan, and make sure you trust the people that you're leaving your children with, when you're going off and doing these things. But just know that, being a teen mom is not the end of the world. As a matter of fact, there are so many young parents, in society, and we still look at it as, it's something wrong with it. The only time that there's something wrong with it is if there was, trauma behind it, and we're shunning people for just having a hard time, getting their bearings. So it doesn't matter if you're, a young mom or a middle-aged mom. A mom is a mom. Once you take on that responsibility, you don't wake up every day and say, wow, I'm this age and, I'm a mom. No, you get up and you do what you have to do. But what I'm saying to you is just make sure that you don't put your goals and dreams too far in the back, that you forget about them, or you just think that you can't accomplish them, because you can. So to all my young moms out there, do what you gotta do, but also figure out who you are in the process. And there's nothing wrong with, a little me time. My time, take a nice hot bubble bath, chill, get a sitter for the afternoon, and just figure yourself out. Figure out what you like, because, a better you means a better mom, a better example. And also we need to give, our children some type of positive direction, by example, and not just, by talk. So listen, it can be done. I did it. I'm still doing it. And, my children are, of course, adults now. But, I made it through, and I had, a good time doing it. I loved being a mom. Once I got the hang of it, it's one of my, best jobs I ever had. So don't let people shame you or guilt you, for being a young mom, or, and don't hide it from people, because like I said, each one teach one. If I hadn't heard stories of other young moms, I probably wouldn't be sitting here, talking about it right now. So whatever the, if it's trauma behind it, I suggest, of course, therapy first, and then, start your growth and quantum healing, and, just it move on. You can accept it and just move on with your life and do all the things, that you had planned for yourself. So until next week, I thank you guys for joining me, and I will see you soon. Bye.